All right, we're going live now. Awesome. So if you refresh, we should be live. Cool. Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is UHack's third speaking session. Today, I have Yuri here with me from Wallchain. Afterwards, we'll have Mark from the Pyth network join us, and this will be the morning session. And for the afternoon session, we'll have the Graph joining us to give a presentation as well. And then we'll be closing off the day with a fireside chat with Layer Zero and some of their members. But we have Yuri here from Wallchain for now. So hello, Yuri. Very nice to have you here.
Sure, yeah. Hey everyone. Happy to be here with you today. Thanks for having me. Happy to chat about all things in crypto, what we're building, how did we came to it, and why we're building it.
Awesome. So if you so if anybody has any questions throughout the talk, feel free to just drop it in the YouTube chat section, and we'll be getting to them after Yuri finishes his presentation. So yeah, Yuri, why don't you give us a quick introduction about yourself, about Wallchain, and maybe about how you got started into crypto in the first place.
Sure. Let me double check if I'm sharing the screen correctly.
Yeah, you are sharing the screen.
I'm not sharing the screen?
You are sharing the screen right now.
Are you sure that it's on YouTube Live, it's in the proper way? Because I'm seeing like a recursion.
Hold on. I do see that we're presenting in the Google Meets. Ah, there you go. Awesome. Now I can see your face on the stream. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, so feel free to take it away.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Yuri. Yeah, let me first introduce myself, share a few words about my background. Happy to share my crypto journey, how we got into building Wallchain, why we're building it, what is it in a nutshell. So yeah, next slide I have for you is me and my co-founder. So I met my co-founder many years ago, like 8 years ago, when I was doing my master's, and Max was doing his PhD in machine learning. Since then, we went through engineering at Google, Meta, and accelerating at Y Combinator and Alliance DAO. So many of you may know like traditional finance. So we can start from the basics of traditional finance, like payment for the order flow. It's the payment that is made by big market makers and trading firms like Citadel for retail trading apps execution. For example, many of you may know like Robinhood. Most of the Robinhood revenue comes from the payment for the order flow, like 80% or something. So they send all of the orders from users to firms like Citadel to execute those orders, and those firms execute in their profit. And regular people, regular retail, lose money just by trading, just by investing. And there is not much retail and people in Web2 can do with that because it's quite centralized. So many people ask the question, can we do better in DeFi? Because it seems to be more transparent. Users, community has more power, and everyone is looking for a better approach for that. In our case, we decided to come up with one side of that approach with one narrow angle, double down on that, and at least solve this problem for some part of the market. Yeah, before we get into that, I would like you to ask yourself if you have ever traded on Uniswap or any other like decentralized exchanges, QuickSwap, like you name it. If you have, most likely some of your money were taken by bots. Let's look add some data. So in DeFi, yearly, we have more than $1.5 trillion trading volume, which is great, which is absolutely fantastic. But unfortunately, half of that are just bots, which make money on users, on just retail users who come to buy and sell tokens. And we already have more than $1.3 billion captured by those bots. These bots are also called MEV bots, which stands for maximal extracted value, which means it's the value that can be extracted from user order flow, from transactions coming from users on chain. It can be even before the chain when it gets to mempool or to some sequencers at validator level or whatever. So this is just some extra value, extra profit captured from what is coming from transactions, what users are doing. Yeah, let's see. Let's take a look at some of the recent data. I made these screenshots only today in the morning. So we have on Ethereum for the last 30 days around like 8 million in those MEV strategies captured. And on BNB, we have around 30 million. And some of you may say like, well, DeFi has been existing for years already. Hasn't it been improved? Hasn't the DeFi protocol became more MEV resistant? Can you make it better, like from the foundation level? Can you just don't leak MEV by design? It may seem that on paper we can do that, but in reality, we have some of the most efficient protocols like 0x, aggregator, 1inch, being one of the most MEV creating protocols, MEV creating routers, smart contracts, like have 0x number 2 and 1inch like number 6 in creating MEV on Ethereum. The situation may be different on other chains. Yeah, so that's the state of the market right now, and it's only getting worse. Some users are turning to private execution custom RPC solutions. Many of them you may heard, like there are RPCs by Flashbots, MEV Blocker. I do recommend you to use those. Most of that RPCs are only for Ethereum, focused on Ethereum private execution. They have difficult user experience, so you need to copy paste the settings of that RPC to insert into your wallet. It may be not that comfortable on mobile, and like explaining to the next 1 billion users in Web3 what is custom RPC, how you need to copy paste it and set it up in your wallet is quite a challenge. And what's even worse, that most of the value, in some cases, big chunk of the value comes to the third parties, like validators, who need to execute the transaction in a proper way, and value from coming from MEV has to be shared with them. So we analyzed the market and we decided to come up with something different, something that can serve in a better way big chunk of players of the market. And that's what Wallchain solution is about. So we have a user, that's some sort of MEV supply chain. We have a user that is picking up some gap and coming to the wallet to sign the transaction. And after it's signed in the wallet, and it goes to some custom RPC, or it goes to public mempool, it goes to like validator supply chain, it goes to execution. So most of the MEV solutions are focused on a part of the transaction journey after the wallet, after it was signed, after it gets into RPC, after it's validating, being executed and put into the order of other transactions in the block. Many of you may know MEV share, where there's like an auction of transactions on the validator level. More closer to the wallet, to the user RPC solutions, where they held this auction at the RPC level. In our case, Wallchain, we decided to take the approach even closer to the user before the wallet. In this case, we're able to extract MEV before any other player in the market, come as close to the user as possible, even before the wallet, extract as much as possible, and we don't need to share the value with third parties like validators because it works just like a regular transaction. We just add more transaction data to the transaction, we add more instructions, which which extract those MEV and share it back with originator of transaction. In this case, we can see user. Sometimes it may be the app. Yeah, and some of the benefits of this approach is that we are fully EVM compatible. We can launch on any EVM chain as simple as deploying 3 smart contracts. We don't need to support their um, EVM in infrastructure, partner with validators, integrate validators, build some RPCs and RPC execution infrastructure. It's just as simple as deploying 3 smart contracts. So it's fully much more scalable. No need to manage endpoints. Much easier user experience. You don't need to set up those RPCs in your wallet, manage that hassle. Much more user-friendly for the next 1 billion people in Web3. And we don't need to share the value with third parties like validators. We don't need to overpay them, pay them bribes, because it's, again, as simple as just one more smart contract and a few more instructions to your transactions that would extract that MEV for you. And what do we have now? We are mostly on BNB and Polygon. We have more than 26,000 transactions with MEV shared with originators. We've been integrated by protocols like QuickSwap, Baby, Dodge, ApeSwap, and PancakeSwap, and we are processing more than 1.5 billion transactions monthly, worth of transactions. And yeah, if you come up with any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Happy to go through them while we are presenting here. Happy to ask them at the end as well. Yeah, one of the most recent launches we have with PancakeSwap, which was like in October 2023, a new protocol which we call Meta Intent Flow Auction. Many of you may have heard of intents, where you specify the conditions of what you want to have executed with your assets, with anything that you have on chain. Works like a signature, and solvers that are trying to execute your condition. In our case, meta intent is something that is always present with every intent, with every transaction. It means that whatever you're trying to execute, if this something what you're executing, your transaction, your intent, if it creates a value to anyone else in the market, so the rule of the market is that that value will be extracted. And your meta intent is that you want as much of that value back to yourself. This is your meta intent. If you create value to someone, you want as much of that value back to you. And this is present. It works with transactions. It works with intents. This is some sort of generalized MEV approach from one side of the market that we are providing to users and to the apps. The first protocol to integrate was PancakeSwap. Many more joined after. So here are the advantages of meta intents. Firstly, it's at the top of MEV supply chain. It gets integrated before everyone else in the supply chain, before validators, before wallets, right before it's like right at the top of decentralized application, actually like at the front end level. Multi-chain adaptability can be launched on any EVM chain as simple as deploying 3 smart contracts, and it's cost effective because we don't need to manage the infrastructure of validator on every chain. No need to manage the infrastructure, manage the RPC nodes. No need to share value with validators and bribing the validators or any other third parties. So we are able to extract as much as it's like technically possible. Shared is with the user, with originator, the app, And recently, we also started sharing it with liquidity providers to mitigate the LVR. Yep. So here's the high-level scheme of how the meta intent works. On the left side, we can see users. Users can go to the apps which have integrated meta intents. Users can go to wallets where meta intents were like integrated as well, or they can have a meta intents browser extension, like at least one of three. They do whatever they usually do, swap, buy, sell NFT, like any sort of transaction. And then that transaction is sent to a quick auction. This auction gives that transaction, like it's a raw transaction data to be precise here. It's not like a full signed transaction that is ready to be executed. It's just a raw transaction data, not yet signed by the user. Basically like instructions of what the user wants to do. And this is being auctioned with MEV searchers, with solvers. If any of them can backrun, if they want to execute something right after this transaction, if they want to be first to execute and capture the value coming out, leaking out of this transaction data, the best trusted bit wins. It gets validated, and then it gets back to the user side, to the front-end client side, and then it's being sent to MetaSwapper. It's a special smart contract. It firstly executes what the user wanted. Any arbitrary data instruction that was originally wanted by the user to execute, buy, sell, NFTs, swap, breach, any sort of like tokens. And then after that, MEV capturing happens. Here is the original like searcher. They also generate a separate transaction data, and it goes here. It executes right after the user. So there is nothing harmful that searchers can do. They cannot front run the users here. They only can execute good positive MEV right after the user. So they execute it here, capture extra profit, and then that profit is immediately in the same transaction, in the same instruction, shared with the originator. Users don't need to wait. They don't need to claim sometime right like after it. It gets immediately back to them in the same transaction with the instructions of the searcher. And here's an example of the transaction. It may be a bit technical. We can go quickly through that, but I'll explain it on a high level. And it may be like also valuable for many of you to like look through the architecture, through the design of a swap transaction. So here we have a from, which is a user. They come to one of the DEXs which has integrated Wallchain. And here they want to swap BNB to Ethereum. They send BNB here, like instruction 0, first that they do. They send it to one of the Wallchain routers. And then we path this BNB to original router of the DEX. They meet ROP BNB, so it goes to ROP BNB contract and they get ROP BNB. And then this go to an liquidity pool that has both BNB and Ethereum. So they give BNB here, wrap BNB, and they send back to the user Ethereum here, instruction number 5. So the user has executed the swap he wanted originally. He gave his BNB and he got Ethereum back. But what happens next in the same exact transaction? So it's like same set of instructions on chain, which is executed atomically. Nothing can get in the middle of it. The same liquidity pool that was affected, it gets arbitraged. So here is the arbitrager. It may be some trading firm. It may be some like MEV searcher. What they do, they here from another pancake swap liquidity pool, they take a flash loan. So they take 90 RUB BNB for free. They flash loan it here. They use another cake liquidity pool. They arbitrage the original liquidity pool here. So here we see BroadBNB coming from this liquidity pool and Ethereum coming back. So here the user took quite some Ethereum here and user rebalanced the liquidity pool. So now it's no longer balanced compared to the market. And it's been rebalanced using another liquidity pool from PancakeSwap. And because of this rebalance, there was some money made, some profit from arbitrage. And most of that profit was sent back to the user in the point 11, in the instruction 11 here. Wrapped BNB was sent back to the user. So additionally, to making his original swap and getting Ethereum, user got some cash back here, 1.7 robbed BNB. Now it's like $700. User made extra for their swap just because ApeSwap has integrated Wallchain inside of their protocol. Yeah, so this is it. So what's next for Wallchain? There is something else that we've been cooking in our kitchen for the last few months. Something that aligns with the current trends and with the future trends. Because market of DeFi is evolving, and there is only one certain thing that everything will change. Everything will evolve to new forms, new trends, and we are still, even we are like at the peak of the bull market right now compared like to previous bulls, like Bitcoin for 64K. Still, most of the users are yet to come to DeFi. We're still yet to onboard next the 1 billion users, like the DeFi market, I mean. And there's some next level of upgrade we've been cooking for users. We haven't been sharing it publicly yet. I guess many of you have heard of native yield and native yield chains. So it's quite similar to that, like native yield, but with Wallchain technology, we are offering native yield on most L2s and Solana. So instead of building a separate blockchain with native yield, we are bringing it to other L2 blockchains and fast blockchains like Solana. We call it native yield abstraction. So it works like a yield aggregator, inside the account abstraction wallet, automated with account abstraction. It's used to make sure it's secure, self-custodial, and nothing can happen with your money in your wallet. Yeah, so here's a graph of native yield abstraction. When you hold your tokens in wallets, usually like stable coins and like Ethereum, Solana are inflationary token. So your funds are getting inflated over time. Wallets who integrate native yield abstraction, they will get user holdings automatically yielded. It's basically a graph of auto compounding assets. Yeah, so users holdings are getting automatically yielded, and rewards are being accumulated on top. So it will be more like not financially efficient to use wallets which didn't integrate native yield abstraction. And yeah, we are offering this integration to all wallets. Happy to collaborate, happy to partner. If you have ideas to build a wallet, happy to chat and help you build a wallet on top of our native yield abstraction layer. So where is the yield coming from? Yield is coming from Ethereum and Solana staking, real-world assets like treasury bills, MakerDAO, lending protocols, and MEV. We also applying our MEV meta-index auction here, which will generate some extra rewards, extra yields, returns for users collect some of their MEV value from their wallets. Yeah, basically that's it. And we don't have much public information yet. Still doing some research, going to publish that soon. If it's something of your interest, feel free to DM, happy to chat. Yeah, we have a demo, but I don't think we have much time for the demo. So here we have my contacts, company contacts, and QR code for our website where you can sign up for the early access and become one of the beta testers. That's basically it. That's some of my journey, some of the journey of our company. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Nice, thank you. That was awesome. Yeah, there's a lot there, and I wanted to circle back a little bit, just to make sure that I understand everything about how Wallchain actually makes back that those funds based on transaction, and it's because of the arbitrage opportunity when you take swaps. And just to clarify it for anyone who is listening and don't know, so liquidity pairs, like the prices within liquidity pairs, are determined locally based on the ratio of the two assets that are in there. So in that instant that somebody transfers any kind of asset in or out of a pool, it unbalances the pool. And I guess that's the gap that you guys fill, but then return the arbitraged funds back to the users.
Yep.
Is that correct?
That's
Okay,
exactly correct. Just additional comment here that that's the most basic strategy, like arbitrage between two pools. Like there may be more pools in one arbitrage. There also may be like arbitrage not only between different DEXs, between different pools, but between different chains, cross-chain arbitrage and cross-domain arbitrage. When like more sophisticated traders take position on one chain, they see like some opportunity in the market, and then they also take a position on a CEX, like a Binance or some other CEX, where they can get that liquidity. Some more complex strategies, they're more profitable, they bring more profits to traders, but yeah, they may be even more complex where they're not even publicly yet. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. And yeah, before we get to the questions from the audience, I am wondering that this is all quite technical, and I'm wondering how important education is it is for you guys, for Wallchain, and how you guys go about doing education.
Yeah, not sure if you mean like education in traditional sense, like getting a degree. Yeah, we of course our like computer science degree was extremely helpful here.
I'm thinking of more towards the community, because if someone is planning to integrate Wallchain into their hackathon submission, they would have to go about explaining the mechanics behind it and the reasoning behind their decision. And since we're trying to make a lot of these hackathon submissions into real life projects as well, a lot of the challenges that we have seen from previous speakers is because of how technical their project is. It's very difficult to educate their community about what they're actually doing and how it's actually beneficial. And I'm wondering if you guys have any tools or tips that you can give to people about that.
Sure, yeah, educating community is definitely a challenge. We've been challenged with it ourselves a lot. Yeah, some of the ways is like having calls like this, jumping on community calls of other communities, partnering with like ecosystems. Like we're partnering with BNB Chain, and we've been like presenting and giving some like chats, talks with their communities. These are the things that helped a lot for us. If we're talking specifically about Wallchain, and there are like some people in listening here who want to educate more on Wallchain and our approach, what we built, how it's working now, and what we'll build next, feel free to just jump in our communities, in our Discord, in our Telegram. Just DM me on Twitter, Telegram, whatever. We open to share knowledge and like get feedback and iterate on things. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And by the way, you can also find Yuri's Twitter linked in the UHack under uhack.xyz under the speaker section. So yeah, thanks for opening yourself up for people to reach out to you. A question that we do have though is what is an audience is wondering what Wallchain's revenue model is.
Sure. So we have like an auction. From one side of an auction, we have the apps. Like the biggest one is PancakeSwap currently integrated, and transactions order flow are coming from PancakeSwap, and those transactions we auction off with other searchers, other solvers, and they bid for the right to backrun those transactions, to be the first to execute their strategies right after the transaction. So they place bids, and we take that bids and we take 10% from that bid to ourselves to build our treasury. We take 10% of that, and 90% we send back to the originator of transaction, to the user, to the app, to the liquidity provider. So yeah, that's the revenue model. We take 10% from the bids.
Nice, awesome. I love it that it's profit orientated. And another question that was brought up was, did ETH 2.0 upgrade have any kind of effect on Wallchain?
It didn't have an effect on Wallchain because it's on Ethereum and we are mostly on BNB and Polygon. I mean, in terms, it has a positive change on impact on the market, and we're impacted overall by the market. So we can say only positive things.
Nice. That's awesome. And just to close off, I think with a fun little topic, I'm really curious about how you got into crypto, because you did say you have a computer science degree, or I'm not sure if you're referring to your colleagues or to yourself, but it would be really cool to hear about your story about how you got started into this crypto world.
Yeah, so quick recap on my journey. I was like studying, got into internships at Google and Facebook, worked at Facebook for like 3 years, engineering infrastructure, and I was passively into crypto monitoring, jumping into a few ICOs, regularly losing money. And after Google, me and my friend, we went through Y Combinator with our first startup. It wasn't that great. It was like live streaming related, and then we started like a NFT live streaming marketplace in 2021. And in parallel, me and my friend, we started running our own bots, our own like arbitrage bots, just like make some extra money to explore DeFi, to see like how it's going, how it's working from the ground. We started running those bots. We quickly found that it's an extremely competitive market. Many other people are also doing their own bots, and so we need to compete. We need to offer like execute, come up with better strategies. We were thinking that it's like a race to the bottom, to coming up with those strategies, updating them. So we're thinking, how can we do it better? How can we come up with more scalable solutions? So we came to a few decentralized exchanges and say like, hey, look, there are bots making money of you monthly. Here are the transactions. Integrate our solution, and we will eliminate most of the bots. We will capture that money ahead of bots, and we send it back to your users, to you. It will not be that harmful for the ecosystem. It will be much more valuable for the ecosystem than just leaving those profits on the table for some random bots. So yeah, that's how it all started.
Nice. That's a pretty smooth transition over to Wallchain then. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Yuri, for joining us today.
Yeah,
it was really nice to chat to you. And if you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share, then feel free to go.
Yeah, thank you, folks. Thanks a lot for having me here. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. If any of the listeners come up with the questions later, feel free to DM, feel free to reach out. We're open to discussions. We often like get into like deep discussions with our users on a tech, because it's always valuable to get some perspective, some external views on what's happening and understand the needs and the value of our product for our end users. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, hope you have a good sessions next. Have a good one. Take care.
All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Awesome. So that was a Wallchain. And with me already in this call, I have Andy from Pyth Network up next. Hello, Andy.
Hello, hello. How are you? How's everything going?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's the third week of speaking sessions. Unfortunately, this is happening during ETH Denver.
Yes.
We are seeing less people showing up, but still great to chat with people as always.
Yeah, I'm personally at East Denver as well. So basically, just at the hotel right now and meeting people and joining those all kinds of events. And it was crazy this year. See lots of faces and people are hanging around and excited to be here. Just yeah, it's really interesting.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not able to make it to ETH Denver this time because of my classes. But yeah, anyways, really nice to have you here, Andy. Why don't you get started with the introduction about yourself as well, about Pyth Network as well? And
Yeah, for sure. Let me just share the screen for a pitch deck. All right, here we go. In view slideshow. So can you guys see my screen if I doing this?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Screen is good.
Nice. So good. So yeah, hi everyone. This is Andy from Pyth Data Association. So I'm a co-contributor to the Pyth network and I mainly help with event marketing and growth strategy. So yeah, it's great to be here and thank you for inviting me to share the growth and share everything or share just an overview of what Pyth network is and how Pyth network is actually empowering the decentralized applications among different blockchains, among different networks, and also talks about a little bit about data, market data, financial data, why oracles are needed in the general like blockchain space. So yeah, that's something I want to share for today. So as you guys may know, what is an oracle? So according to Matt, there's a quote said like an oracle is essentially a way to bring information from the outside world onto the blockchain. So why do we need oracles, right? Because blockchain is a closed space, so we cannot directly source those any kinds of information directly from off-chain space or outside world. So we have to have a way, or we have to have someone for us to bring those things, so those informations on chain for those decentralized applications to use. So what kind of information we need on the blockchain that we cannot generate by ourselves, first of all, and most importantly, for most of DeFi applications, we need a price information, right? Imagine like we need a Bitcoin price from off-chain, from centralized exchanges so like Binance, OKX, or Bybit, or etc. And then we have to have the exact and very accurate Bitcoin price so that we can build something on-chain. For example, if I'm building a lending protocol, I have to use Bitcoin or some stable coin as a collateral so that I can evaluate your position and I can know like how much you should collateralize so that you can borrow money from the protocol. And these price information have to come from a source, and those sources are like from either Oracle, or you can build on your own price server so that you can continuously update the price of Bitcoin from outside worlds to the blockchain world. So what is Pyth network? So Pyth network is the largest first-party financial oracle in the world. So it is a protocol that actually allows market participants to publish price information on chain for others to use. By others, I mean those the DeFi apps or those on-chain analytics platform, or like any other user cases who wants or who need those financial data to do their own things. So the protocol is an interaction, or like Pyth network is actually an interaction between three parties. The first party is data providers. So data providers actually submit price information to Pyth Oracle program, so that Pyth has multiple data providers for every price feed to improve the accuracy and robustness of the system, right? And the second is Pyth on-chain Oracle program, which is the core of the whole network. And we have a Solana private blockchain called PythNet, which is a kind of we fork Solana mainnet so that we can build our own blockchain for data aggregation and for combining providers submitted data to produce a single aggregated price and confidence interval as the reference price information for those DApps to use. And the third role in this network is applications, or like DApps. So those dApps read the price information produced by the Oracle program, and more specifically, Pyth allows users to pull prices onto the blockchains where needed. So those prices become publicly available for everyone on that blockchain after pulling this data from the decentralized applications. And right now, as you can refer to this deck, it's actually those metrics are pretty outdated because this deck is from December last year. And right now, those information or those number becomes Pyth right now is live on about 40 or 50 blockchains with over 400 price feeds live on every chain covering different asset classes, including crypto, including Forex, including stocks, commodities, and ETFs. So those price feeds are live on more than 50 blockchains for any decentralized applications to use. And in the Pyth ecosystem, right now we have more than 300 decentralized applications actually integrating with Pyth data and try to use those price information to build their own decentralized applications. So let's talk about financial data as a general perspective. So you may know like data market is a big market, and actually those in the traditional finance world, financial market data is worth 8 billion or more than 8 billion per year. By more than 8 billion per year, I mean those revenues from those big exchanges. As you can see from the left figure or left panel, we have NASDAQ, IC, CME, CBOE, LSE, Euronext, BGC, and all other big exchanges in the world. They are actively providing financial data to any user cases or to any companies who needs. And those financial data are worth more than 8 billion per year. So this market data are very valuable, and those exchanges in the world, those biggest exchanges in the world, this is actually their core business. And as you can know, like financial data is a big world, then what about the on-chain financial data? So on-chain financial data is also valuable because, as we just said, right, we have all kinds of user cases. We have all of those DApps who need those data, and those data are not free, because free data we can source from like third-party source, we can source from outside world, but these data are not accurate. But in the financial world, whether it's on-chain or off-chain, those 1 decimal points or 1 basic points can affect more than 1 billion or more than trillions of positions, or like tradings or transactions in a second. So right, if your Bitcoin price varies maybe like by 10 basic point, then pretty much your transaction or your position, if you are a big whale, then you are like your treasury or your asset will increase by 7 figures, or like decrease by 7 figures. So that's why those financial data is that important, and that's why we need those accurate data on chain. So here's how Pyth network works, right? So on the very left side, we have financial market data providers. So we call them publishers. And those publishers, they are all first-party data providers. So by first-party, I mean like those data creators or data owners. What kind of data owners we have? Like first is trading firms. So they keep actively those trade those kind of assets on chain or off chain, so that they can generate the real transactions, and each transaction include a real-time price that they trade. And second is centralized exchanges, so that, as you know, like whenever you put an order on Binance, on OKX, on those exchanges, there's buy and sell spread, right? So those price information actively reflect the current price of a specific asset. And third, we have those market makers to actively also help those decentralized applications to make the market on chain. So they have those first party or direct data sources. So all of those data providers keep providing data on chain to the Pyth on-chain program. And Pyth on-chain program actually integrate those data and aggregate those data to generate a specific and single aggregated price feeds for dApps on the blockchain space to use. So we call them consumers because they consume this data permissionlessly and continuously on chain. So as you can see, like on the very left side, in terms of the Bitcoin price, each publisher has its own kind of expectation of the Bitcoin price. For publisher one, we have like 40,000 plus and minus 10. Second, we have 40,100 plus and minus 50. So all these publishers, they have their own price, and then they submit the price to the on-chain program, and we have to use an algorithm to aggregate those data, so to produce an aggregated price. So for this time point, the Bitcoin price is 40,037.5 plus and minus 47 plus 5, 0.5. So plus and 8, the very later part is confidence interval. It means like how confident we are at this time point in terms of these price information. So as you can see from the downside, there's a SOL and USD price feed, and in the very middle there's a purple line. That is the price expectation from our side, and there is a band around this purple line, and that means the confidence interval. So for a decentralized application, if you want to integrate the price feeds, you can only use the price itself, or like if you want to do some risk management tools in your protocol, then you can also integrate a confidence interval so that you can have a threshold, like when the confidence interval is too broad, then I will drop this price. I don't want to believe in this price because it means like your confidence about this price feeds at this time point is very, very low. And I don't want you to use this low confident price to be integrated to my protocol. So that's how like the Pyth network works in a nutshell, or in a kind of general perspective. And as I said, like data providers, on-chain protocol, on-chain program of the Pyth, oracles, and the consumers are three roles in this ecosystem. So we have to dive into details like why we need those data providers, and how like what are those data providers, right? So as you can see from this map, all of those data providers are actually very well known and outstanding in the whole world. So we got trading firms, we got TradFi exchanges, we got crypto exchanges, providing different asset class of price feeds to crypto network. So as you can see here is TradFi exchanges. You may know, like you may want to ask why we need those exchanges, right? Do they have those crypto data? Actually, they may not, but they are providing stock price. They are providing those traditional finance assets price to the Pyth network. Let's say like SIBO, they are providing US stocks price to the Pyth network, and that is the only source you can find on chain for those stock price. And you can visit pyth.network as our official website, so you can see those price feeds is actually live, and you can see those price of the stock keep like updating every milliseconds, so you can actually refer to those accurate price there. And why we need those crypto on-chain data, or like US stock on-chain data? Because right now we see like lots of protocols, they are building the real asset protocols, so they can refer to those specific asset class, and then they can build something on that. Another example is Forex, right? We know like in the traditional finance world, Forex is actually very actively traded in all over the world. So those exchanges, they actually also provide those forex data, so that some like on-chain protocols, they can build something on those forex. And we have a very novel user cases that there's a protocol, they actually keep referring the Argentina currency to USD, so that they can keep converting those unstable or volatile sovereign currencies to USD to make their transactions or to make their positions stabilized than just holding the sovereign currency. So these novel user cases are very interesting, and we really welcome to see more user cases like that. And here's another map or another kind of diagram that shows why we need these kind of new oracles instead of the legacy oracles. So as you can see, what I'm stressing here is we are the first party data provider, and there's no middleman among the Pyth networks. So on the very left side, we have those data providers, and these are data owners from the traders and exchanges. And on the very right corner, we have a Pyth network. So there's no middleman in the middle, but you can see like in the legacy oracles network or diagram, there are kind of third-party aggregators, there are node providers, and these kind of data, these aggregators, they source data from our data providers, and then they aggregate this data by themselves, and then they perform as the node provider, and then they provide this data to legacy oracle networks and to produce an aggregated price. And the problem of that is, if I have to go through all of this process, and then I have to find an agent to help us to provide those price feeds, then there may be some space that those aggregators and that agent cannot perform well, whether it's like subjectively or like it's not like out of their own will. But there's a space that they can do something bad, and there's a space that those data accuracy cannot compare with those first-party data sources. So we actually eliminate those aggregators and the node providers among the network to enhance the robustness and enhance the accuracy of the Oracle program. And right now, among all different blockchain ecosystems, we have, as I said, more than 300 known users, and those 130 increment comes from the first 2 or 3 months in 2024. So those kind of novel known users are all our big partners and our nice friends. We have Synthetics on Optimism, we have Drift on Solana, and we have all other kind of on-chain, off-chain dApps that are kept using like Pyth data. And you can see on the very left top side, there's TradingView. So we know like many people use TradingView actually as their like daily dashboard to refer to this price information. And we're happy that we've integrated with TradingView, so that actually on TradingView, you can refer to this crypto information and non-crypto information from the Pyth network. And you can build your own dashboard and own like panels, graphics using those price data, so that you can have a better understanding and of how market performs right now and how's the general market situation about this. And data feeds, right? As I also strengthened, we do not only have crypto data, do not have only digital assets, but also equities, forex, and commodities. So these are kind of brand new and very nice price feeds that keep that are kept using by those protocols. And what is the future of Pyth? As we keep expanding to different blockchain ecosystems, as we have more and more price feeds available on chain, as we are onboarding more and more data providers. So yes, the future of Pyth is gonna be, we are covering as many ecosystems as possible, so that people can like you do not need to worry about say, hey, because we believe in a like multi-chain future, so whenever you want to expand your protocol to another ecosystem than the current one, then you are like referring to those price feeds on the current blockchain, and you are afraid like if those price feeds are available on your expanding blockchain. And we tell you like you don't have to worry about that. As long as that ecosystem is live, then you will have Pyth oracles there, and you will have those price feeds there, so that you don't have to worry about the price availability there. And you can permissionlessly integrate those data on different blockchains as well. So as you can refer to this diagram, we have all those blockchain ecosystems, and we have those protocols on those blockchain ecosystems, so that they keep integrating the price feeds, and we are keep expanding it, and we can see a very nice growth chat on those metrics. And here's a general metrics, and as I said, it's momentum for Pyth 2023. And as we get into 2024, we are keep expanding it. We've been seeing lots of interesting teams at East Denver this year, and we're gonna be expanding our protocols as much as we can and as quick as we can. So that's all I'm gonna share for today, and also just gonna say it will happen, and also looking forward to like talk with you guys in more details, and maybe we can accept some questions from the audience. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much, Andy. Pyth network, Pyth network. I'm always saying Pyth.
Because like our name is actually from a ancient Greek kind of mystery, and Pythia is actually the Oracle of Delphi. So Pyth is the Oracle of blockchain. So that's a name, and that's how name comes from.
Awesome. I love that actually. All right, we do have a thank you for the presentation. I love that. I love that. We do have a question from the audience. There's two questions actually. I think you kind of answered the first one already, but I'm wondering if there's any other aspects that Pyth differentiates itself from other oracles like Chainlink.
Oh yeah, that's a good question, and we always have this question, right? So as I said, we have multiple aspects, and we say like here we have a novel Oracle solution, and the core of it is we are bringing a new Oracle structure called pool model. So that by pool model, we mean like we don't stream those data to any like blockchains or protocols. Instead, we aggregate those data and we'll provide those price information on PipNet, which is a app chain for aggregating Pyth data, right? So all of those price feeds are there, and whenever needed or whenever you want those price feeds, you can go or you can come and refer to those price feeds on PipNet and update the price by yourself. So that means like you do not have to worry about the latency of those price feeds. You do not have to worry about if the Oracle is keep streaming this data to your blockchain or your protocol. You can customize your own like frequency of updating, or you can customize which price feed you want to build into your protocol, so that you don't have to worry or you don't have to wait for the Oracle providers to stream this data for you. That's one point. And the second point is we are first-party Oracle providers instead of a third-party Oracle providers, right? So as you can recall from the diagram, we do not have middlemen. We do not have those data aggregators to stream this data for us, because we believe like that will cause lots of latency, that will cause lots of inaccuracy, and we don't want this. The next generation of finance or next generation of DeFi have to be high throughput and have to be way accurate than we have right now. And if we want that to happen, then we have to have a very strong infrastructure that providing those accurate data to those protocols. So that's why we choose to build first-party financial oracles. And it's not easy, to be honest, because you have to kind of collectively find those partners, find those data providers, and they are all well known. They are very successful in their own aspect and area. So we have to kind of group them or gather them together and to let them provide this data to the network, so that we can build a strong network to provide this data. And yeah, the start is not easy, but as we become stronger and stronger, as we onboard more and more data publishers, then the whole network will become more robust, and we don't have to worry about the accuracy or data availability, because we have those more than 90 top tier data providers. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty holistic answer. So thank you for that. And yeah, I do 100% agree with that. To get major protocols, especially on board, is quite difficult. But as you go by the process, it gets easier. The more you on board, you expand your own ecosystem, and so you become more attractive to other larger DeFi protocols. And it's the same for organizing UHack and for other projects that I'm working with as well. So if you're here in the audience, don't get discouraged. If you're looking for big partnerships, you just got to go out there. You just got to send messages to everyone. Just keep going and don't get discouraged by from getting ghosted, because it will come together eventually. So that's awesome. A question that I was having as well, actually, that the audience asked was if you guys have any regulatory challenges by providing price feeds for Forex and non-crypto assets.
Yeah. So I think like for the network itself, there is no kind of regulatory burden or barrier for like provide kind of stop us providing those data. The reason is that we are just bring those data availability on chain, right? What you're gonna do with those data or what you're gonna build with those data is 100% depending on yourself or depend on those protocols. So if you want to build some specific kind of user case with those data, then you have to refer or you have to ask your senior counsel or like a consultant to see if there's any legal trouble of that. But as a data provider or as a kind of oracle itself, we actually do not have this kind of issue, and we are trying to onboard more like data providers to bring those kind of strong price feeds to the blockchain ecosystem. So the question or the core is like how you're going to use this data, right? So if you use them legally, then it's legal. If you use this at a risk, then you have to worry about yourself.
Mm-hmm. I see. Awesome. So you guys are kind of like the base protocol that real world asset protocols would build off of, which is pretty cool, because when we were planning UHack, one of the original ideas for UHack is to have it all about real world assets and have that as the focus. Yeah, so this is a nice little point. Yeah, a question that I have for you is that I'm actually bringing from our previous speaker as well, is what is Pyth's revenue model? If your job is just to provide data feeds, how do you make money off of that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So as Pyth network is actually a decentralized protocol, right? So there's no kind of there's no like Web2 business where like maybe we partner with those decentralized protocols and then we sign a contract with them and then we stream this data to them and we collect money. There's nothing like that. As a decentralized and kind of Web3 protocol, Web3 Oracle solution, then it's the network itself. It's kind of keep generating data fees from by providing this data to dApps. Right now, this revenue model is still not activated because we have to have the decentralized governance live already first, and then it is happening right now. So I think like last week we just finished the election of the price feed council from the Pyth network, so that in the future, like onboard or list new price feeds are decided by governance, and then onboard new data providers will be decided on governance when we have a data provider council as well. So all of those decisions are from governance, and then in terms of the revenue model, right? So whenever you update a price feed for your protocol, you have to pay an update fee. These fees include either one is the gas fee of your destination blockchain, and the second is a portion of the update fees is actually the data fee. And the data fee will be distributed to first those data providers, and second the network contributors, right? And also the network itself. So these are kind of services that are keep generating revenues or keep generating fees to support the network to grow. So there's kind of there's no centralized institution or centralized organization that need to make profits from Pyth network. Pretty much every contributor to the Pyth network will have this share of revenue in the future, especially those data providers, because they are the core of those price feeds, right? So they have to share a portion of the data fee for them to incentivize them to keep providing data to the network. And right now, integrating price fees are free and are permissionless because pretty much the data fee that we are setting now is one way, which is the minimum unit on blockchains, right? So it's pretty much free. You can only like update this data with the gas fee of your blockchain. And in the future, the data fee will be decided by governance as well. So at some point of this year or maybe next year, there will be a proposal, maybe by community member or by council member, saying that, okay, we need to turn on, or we need to incentivize the data providers, and we need to turn on the data fee structure so that we will decide on how much should a single update worth, how much data fees should we collect from a single price update. Then after that, we're gonna have those revenue flows coming, and then those revenues can be distributed to all of those contributors among the network.
Oh, yeah, that's really interesting. And I feel like the setting up a DAO will come with many of its own challenges.
Yeah.
That's for sure, especially being able to choose a able body to govern the entire protocol. So that's really exciting. So props up to you guys in advance. And I'm wondering if there are any other major challenges that you guys faced throughout the lifetime of Pyth and how you overcame them.
Yeah, so I mean, like the most important challenge, or the prominent challenge, as we just said, as we start from a very small protocol, right? So we don't have a strong data provider ecosystem, so we cannot like keep sourcing this data from the first party providers, and those price fees are not that reliable than the current stage, right? So these are like our pain points, and we have to overcome it by constantly or like effortlessly looking for those first party data providers. We have to bring this model to them, and we have to say like, hey, why you are incentivized by providing data to the ecosystem. That's one, like from monetary perspective. And secondly, why this is a very important job or contribution to the general blockchain ecosystem, because that means we have to have those infrastructure ready, and then we can welcome the next generation of DeFi. So that few months, or that like on the first year of the Pyth network, it's really hard to onboard those brand novel data providers or top tier data providers. And thanks to our advisors, thanks to our contributors introducing us or bringing this model to those top tier institutions, and they understand this and they believe in the future of DeFi, so that they keeps like we keeps onboarding them. And until right now, we have a very strong ecosystem. And in terms of the data users, or like that side, actually, the great growth comes this year and last year, because as we become stronger and stronger, and then we have those data providers, and our price fees become more and more reliable, so that those dApps, they will fearlessly, or they are willing to accept those price feeds and to integrate them as their primary Oracle solution onto their protocols. So we can see more and more user cases, and as we deploy our Oracle smart contract to more and more blockchains, we have more and more protocols integrating with Pyth data on those blockchains. So the whole ecosystem is expanding, and then the whole Pyth ecosystem becomes stronger and stronger with those positive cycles.
Nice. Awesome, Andy. And I think this is a pretty good, that covers everything. So I think we covered the full circle about Pyth. Thank you very much for being here. And I hope that you can make it for the Build House, which is nearby ETH Denver. I believe it is either today or tomorrow that UHack will be holding a panel there.
Yes, I have a session. I have the calendar invitation on my Google Calendar for sure. So if I have time, I may go and visit them. And if you guys are there, I will see you there.
Yeah, awesome. So you'll get to meet some of the Cambridge Blockchain Society people, and someone from Conflux as well will be speaking there. Awesome. Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Appreciate your insight.
Yeah, appreciate that. See
Yeah,
you guys.
Have
See you
fun at
around.
December.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for joining this session. With that, we have concluded the morning session of our third speaking session. Later on this afternoon from 7 p.m. GMT onward, we'll have the Graph join us as speakers, and we'll be closing off the third session of the third speaking session with fireside chat with Layer 0. So very nice to have you here as always.